Well, we're back this week for another edition of Te Akau TV, joined today by Te Akau Racing Manager Reese Trumper. Reese, big news this week coming out of Australia with Imperatriz taking out the Sprinter of the Year.
Hey, Hazy and viewers. Look, it was wonderful to see her get Sprinter of the Year. It's not often a New Zealand trained horse can get that award. So to be able to pick that up is amazing. And it just shows how good she was last season. She achieved something that I've never seen a sprinter or even read a sprinter has done in Australia from New Zealand.
Absolutely, and that was 5 Group 1s for her, absolute champion mare. Lots of racing action this week, Reese. It's looking a bit cold there at Matamata, where Thursday morning and you've got the big jacket on.
Yeah, it was really warm all week until this morning when I walked out of the house at 3 a.m. Gosh, it was freezing, so we had to wrap up, but it's an awful time for horses as well because of the warm and cold. So there's definitely a few bugs going around, but the team's doing well to keep on top of it all.
Well, let's have a look at Taupo there on Friday. We kick off there in a race number 4, the Remembering Dave Taylor at Taupo, 3-year-old. One right down the page there in quite a big field by her rules. The Kermadec filly draws barrier 7.
Oh, look, she's probably a doubtful starter being 6th on the ballot, but hey, she's improved out of sight since her run on the synthetic. Obviously, she did run last 5 out of 5, but back on the turf will help her step up and trip also. But she probably won't get a run there.
Race 5, Egyptian Queen takes her place in the rating 65 benchmark 1100.
Taking great benefit from her first up run. Opie gets back on. That's a big plus. From the draw, she can be a bit tardy out of the gates, which isn't ideal, but we'll give her a good warm-up. Hopefully she could end up in the first half of the field and be striking distance, and she's got a good record at Taupo, so expect her to be in the finish with the right run.
Excellent. In race 8, the Generation Homes Taupo Open Handicap, Stony Breck takes his place, draws barrier 4 with Opie Boston on board.
Look, he just went forward and overdid it and did it all wrong at Te Rapa in his last start, so you can put a line through that. Opie back on, ride him for a bit of cover, back and trip the 1400. They'll go along at a good tempo, so the horse will relax nicely. And he's raced well in a very strong race at Taupo in the past, so expect him to turn his form around.
And the Sky Above wraps up the runners for the weekend. Race number 9 seems to have come back pretty well with a nice trial the other day.
She's flying and she looks in great order. She's a lovely coloured mare. She'll be the standout of the day there. From the draw, she should get into a nice spot. Having Opie on is going to be a massive help. She was very stiff not to win one last preparation, but she's certainly one that will go through the grades pretty quickly this preparation. Now she's an older mare.
And later on that evening, there's one to keep an eye on at Cranbourne in race number 1. Our Paramore, who came out of the Oaks trial at Flemington the other week, takes her place here as a pretty short price favourite.
Racing very well. Blake Shin's taken one ride all night, so that must alert to something that she's definitely forward enough to be winning this, and hopefully she can head to the Wakefield on Derby Day into the Victorian Oaks. But obviously you'd like to see her winning on Friday night.
Over to Saturday, and we'll kick off there in Ashburton. We've lost Reese's Canberra, but we will carry on. We kick off in race number 6, the McRae Painters and Decorators Ashburton Cup. Fellini takes his place in this field, drawn barrier 12 with Liam Royden on board.
He's done well since his last start. Obviously back to the mile with the 4 weeks between runs will be ideal for him, and getting him back onto a better surface will definitely help him too. The team's really happy with him, and we expect him to race very well again.
Down to race number 7, the Clement Russell Brand Memorial, rating 65 benchmark 1400. Bellamio draws quite wide in barrier 19, but has the services of Lily Sutherland.
Obviously the 1400 metres is going to suit him third up on Saturday. He's run 2 good races over shorter trips. Unfortunately the wide draw doesn't help his case, but being such a big field, they'll run along at a very strong tempo, which could set it up for a horse like him to come from the back.
And Vivacious has been in some nice form recently, draws barrier 10 with Liam Royden on board.
Put in 2 good performances this time in, and she's continued to impress them. And track work, Hunter and his team are really happy with her. 1400 metres third up from a nice alley. She looks like she's going to be very hard to beat.
There in race 8, the Group 3 race, the Barneswood Farms Stakes for the 3-year-old, set weights 1400. Good lead up race this to the 2000 guineas race. 3 or 4 horses actually take their place here. Kicking off with When Stars Align, the Victress Dream of the Moon, and Donna Chiara.
Yeah, look, when stars align, he'll be a horse that'll suit Ashburton. He'll get up on speed. Jasmine Fawcett's a really good on-speed rider. Obviously, his 2 runs have been okay, so a good deck would certainly help him. But look, the horse is a lovely type, and expect him from getting up on speed to really find a kick on the turn. Dream of the Moon obviously was very good first up in the Canterbury Bell. She was kind of thrown in the deep end first up in that. She was the only one that was going into that race out of our 3 first up, and she ran enormous. So she's taken great improvement from there. From the draw, she'll get back. Great to have Liam Reid in here to ride all our team at Ashburton on Saturday. So expect her to be running on strongly over the 1400. The Victorious, the 1400 is a big question mark. Look, she's 1,000, 1,200 metre horse, but since she's down there, we'll give her the opportunity. She's drawn a soft barrier, so there'll be no excuse why she cannot run out the trip. And Donna Chiara, she's a smoky. Since she's had the blinkers on, she's been a completely different horse, and the team is so happy with her. Hunters said she's the pick out of the ones that have been working up, so expect her to race well. And Lily's had a ride on her in the Wakefield last season.
Excellent. Race number 9, the Peter and Dawn Williams race day, 3rd of November, rating 75 benchmark. Tokyo Tycoon, he was good last start carrying the top weight race.
He was excellent. Obviously, didn't have a trial heading into that, so he was very much underdone. He got back in an awkward spot, but I love the way he went through the line. So up to 1,400 is ideal. Does have to cart around a big weight, but look, he's a class horse of the field, and he looks to have come back in great order.
Elmanette down there is in the same race. Draws barrier 7 with Liam Rawdon on board.
Yeah, look, she's in great order. She's come back flying, actually, and the team's really happy with her. Obviously, the 1,400 is key for her. From the draw, she might get back in the running, but look, they'll go along hard enough and she can get over the top of them.
Excellent. Down to Te Rapa there. Obviously, the meeting's been transferred from the Hawke's Bay to Te Rapa for the Levermore meeting. We kick off in race number 1, the Collier's Commercial 3-year-old. El Tari won really impressively on debut. I think you might have spooked it at the time, Reese. And then came out, ran 6th the start after, has had a spell. How's he heading into his 3-year-old season?
He's had the ultimate gear change since his first 2 trials. I guess we didn't have his mind on the job. Trialled really good as a gelding at Rotorua. 1,400 metres will be ideal for him. I think he is going to be a horse that gets over a bit of ground in time. Does find himself in a very strong form race, but from the good draw, he should end up in a nice spot. And as long as he's hitting the line strongly and showing a lot of interest, we'll be happy.
Race number 4, the All the News at trackside.co.nz 1,200, rating 65 benchmark affair. This inspired by Art. She was really good last season as a 3-year-old. She comes back a stronger mare this prep race.
She does, both mentally and physically. She's in good order. Obviously, barrier 1's not ideal for her. She's going to get run off her feet over the 1,200 first start. So she could end up in an awkward spot, but lucky to have Opie aboard. He'll work it out. And as long as she's hitting the line strongly, we'll be happy.
Race number 6, the Dan Deposito Memorial, rating 65 benchmark 1,600. Court of Appeal lines up for Fortuna Racing. Drawn wide and barrier 16, has the services of Opie Bosson on board.
Look, the draw doesn't seem to worry us too much. She did a lot of work when winning her maiden race at Matamata. And if the track is chopping out a bit, it could be the place to be by that time of the day. She's taken great improvement from that last run at Matamata, so expect her to run a very bold race getting up in grade.
Race 8, the Thompson Suits 1,200, rating 75 benchmark. Petrucci lines up for Trelawney Racing, draws barrier 14 with Naiku Haley on board.
Back in grade, obviously with the apprentice claim on, she's very well placed in the 75 grade. Obviously was good enough to be placed in the Concord to Master Fay on Cracker Million Night last year, so that form definitely is good enough to win this. Obviously, she can handle a bit of sting out of the ground, which will be ideal. She races well at Te Rapa. Obviously, she will be in the best part of the track, so expect her to race very well.
The Group 1 on the card, race number 9, the Levermore Classic. Here's a horse that loves Te Rapa. Plenty of work been put into her recently, Reese. She obviously ran last Wednesday there in the open handicap at Matamata and has trialled recently on Tuesday, winning her trial impressively in Campionessa.
Had a bit of an orthodox preparation heading into the Livermore, not your normal route that you'd take. But look, she's forward enough. She's really happy. She's doing everything right. She had a bit of 3/4 this morning, and Opie gave her the tick of approval. So from the draw, she's going to get into a nice spot, be very conservative. But like you said, races well at Te Rapa, a Group 1 winner at 2,000 metres. She is going to be one of the main dangers.
Excellent. And down to race number 10, 2 runners to wrap up the program there on the Hawke's Bay Great Wine Capital Mile, rating 75 benchmark. Cognito has had the one run this prep, hasn't been in the placings for a while. How's he going into Saturday?
He took good benefit from his first up run at Ellerslie. We chucked them straight up to a mile. The 1,400 metre race that day was very, very strong. So look, he's taken good benefit. He's well and happy. He's drawn to advantage by that time of the day, I'd say. And that claim with Akau will be ideal for him. So expect to see sharp improvement from him.
And My Lips Are Sealed beat some pretty smart gallopers there last out at Te Rapa. Has back-to-back wins on the board and the services of Opie Bossum.
Look, she finds herself in a very similar race to what she did last time. Opie up from a good draw. She'll get a lovely run in transit. I do think she's a proper horse. We have bigger things in plan for her, so she will race well again.
Excellent. Over to Rotorua. There's a couple taking their place down the line there. Kicking off on race number 2, we have Wolverine and Marlborough Bay.
Wolverine was very good first up. Obviously, back in grade, the 75 grade will be ideal. That claim of Akau's really helps her. Up to 1,400 metres suits. She was good enough to obviously place in a T-Rose at 3 in Sydney. So that form is certainly going to be good enough to be competitive in this 75. And Marlborough Bay continues to race consistently. The softer track will be ideal for him. And Opie up is going to be a big advantage for him. So expect him to race well again.
And we spoke about by her rules earlier, likely to not get into the field there at Taupo, but takes its place there in race number 3, the Entain NZB Insurance Pearl Series Maiden Fillies and Mares race.
Yeah, look, she's a bit further up the ballot than what she is at Taupo, so she's probably more of a chance of getting a run at Rotorua. But look, wherever she does start, she will take great improvement from her first up run.
And race number 4 there, the Rotorua Club at 12:15. Bella Voce, the well-bred daughter of Fastnet Rock, takes her place with Opie Bosson on board.
Trialled okay on Tuesday. She is a big doing sort of a Fastnet Rock mare, so the blinkers go back on race day. So expect to whatever she does do on Sunday, she will take great benefit from.
And a pretty talented filly takes her place, or hopefully will make the field there. They're not released at this point. They're at Seymour on Sunday, and one to keep an eye on the future in stage and screen race.
Look, obviously things didn't go to plan with her in her first run when being late scratch, but her trial was great. She's a filly that we have a lot of time for and expect her to be right in the finish.
Excellent. Race, where are we going for our best bet this week?
The last race at Te Rapa, My Lips Are Sealed.
Excellent. My Lips Are Sealed there in the last race at Te Rapa. Good luck for the weekend race. Stay warm, and we'll catch you as we head towards Ellerslie next weekend.